Social interaction is unavoidable. It generates friction, hierarchy, reputation, and consequence. Anyone who operates in the world accumulates mass through contact with others. Gravity forms whether you intend it or not. Ascetic withdrawal avoids distortion, but it also avoids load. Most legacies are not forged in isolation. They are forged under observation, resistance, and pressure. For those uninterested in being liked, affirmed, or interpreted correctly, the problem is not social exposure. The problem is permeability. A hardened self-concept is environmental nullification. The stronger it becomes, the less the world can annotate you. External symbols begin to look obscene, not because they are false, but because they are redundant. Self-concept is not protection from attack. It is protection from interpretation. Nothing sticks. Praise slides off. Blame evaporates. Desire finds no purchase. The world cannot tell if you are wounded or reinforced, because there is no visible surface to read. Part 1. Crux. Those anchored in a coherent self-concept adapt to their environment without fixation. Those without one obsess over labeling, judging, and reshaping others, mistaking external control for identity. A stable self does not require constant feedback. It does not scan faces for approval or recoil from disapproval. It moves first, then listens only to results. Action precedes validation. Adjustment replaces reassurance. Persistence replaces motivation. This is why grounded individuals appear indifferent to chaos. They are not numb. They are calibrated. When feedback arrives, it is treated as data, not as a verdict on the self. Behavior evolves. Identity remains intact. That separation is everything. Part 2. Corpus. An unstable self cannot survive without mirrors. It requires reflection, the way lungs require air. Other people become instruments. Applause becomes oxygen. Opposition becomes threat. The world ceases to be a place to operate within and becomes a stage that must confirm a role. When confirmation fails, panic follows. When resistance appears, it is moralized. This is how fragile identities become loud. Volume replaces substance. Performance replaces capability. The self inflates because it cannot hold pressure internally. Environmental obsession is not power. It is leakage. Every hour spent policing language, managing optics, narrating motives, or assigning labels is an hour not spent increasing competence. Control of symbols feels like control because it produces immediate emotional relief. But it does not compound. It decays. Real power accumulates quietly through skill, endurance, and reliability. Those who possess it rarely advertise it. Those who lack it cannot stop talking about it. This is why resilience looks calm and fragility looks aggressive. When conditions worsen, resilient individuals narrow focus. They reduce noise. They simplify. They do fewer things better. Fragile individuals escalate rhetoric. They multiply rules. They build moral scaffolding to prevent collapse under load. The harsher reality becomes, the more theatrical their behavior grows. Not from malice, from lack of anchor. Put cleanly, A strong self adapts to reality. A weak self demands reality adapt to it. One survives pressure by becoming precise. The other tries to survive by becoming loud. Pressure, being honest and uninterested in excuses, always decides which one continues. Epilogue: Void Armor. The Empire did not end in fire. Fire would have been theatrical. It ended the way overextended structures always do. Assumptions failing in silence. Load-bearing myths sheared away. Titles collapsing inward. The galaxy did not mourn. It recalibrated. He did not witness it. He felt it release, not exile, refinement. Fire, after all, does what fire always does. It tells the truth. He arrived with nothing that could be taken from him. Names went first, then banners, then the language that once made annihilation sound like correction. Advisors evaporated when gravity ceased to favor them. Codes collapsed into behaviors, or were discarded entirely. What remained was not guilt or repentance, just forward motion intact. Void armor sealed around him without insignia or ceremony, blackened, unmarked. Armor not as identity, but as subtraction, not to inspire, not to intimidate, to endure, to pass through aftermath without dissolving into it. Once, a code had hung against his chest, obscene against the blackened void, ancient words demanding relevance, honor, duty, sacrifice. Fire had answered that obscenity the only way it knows how, by removing everything ornamental and leaving only what functioned under pressure. He had fallen far, and the fall had taken his name with it. That was acceptable. Names were soft things. Far below, long ago, someone else had learned the same lesson in ash and silence. Fire had reduced her world to honesty. It had taken her name as well. What survived did not require one. Pain had lost its drama. Fear had become information. Standing had become intention. Selection, not justice. He did not know her. He did not need to. The universe does not bother with symmetry. It repeats structures, not stories. There would be no rebuilding in his image, no redemption calibrated for witnesses, no myth polished for inheritance. Void armor does not protect the soul. It assumes none is present. It protects motion, capability, continuation without explanation or witness. Behind him lay an empire that mistook fire for law. Ahead of him lay nothing promised. That, too, was acceptable. Forward motion was all that remained. Pressure would arrive soon enough.